Hello, and welcome to my lecture on attachment theory. Attachment theory is hard to understand. Like, really hard to understand. So let's try to keep it simple. Part of the confusion is because on top of all the jargon people use, they can't even agree on the names for the four basic attachment types. Today I will be teaching you attachment theory using the attachment type names secure, dismissing, preoccupied, and disorganized. I will be using these titles because they are the titles used by leading minds in the field of attachment theory in Australia. Also, these titles describe the attachment types best with my explanatory model. While the original theory of attachment was developed largely by John Bowlby, a lot of the future research was done by Mary Ainsworth using the strange situation protocol. This protocol essentially exposes an infant to numerous situations involving the infant's mother and a stranger leaving and entering a room in different ways, and looked to see how the infant reacted. These different types of reactions became predictive of adult attachment styles. A word of warning, this is a very simplified explanation and does not even attempt to capture all the aspects of attachment theory or explain its subtle nuances. Examples are given in broad generalizations and should be taken as such. This presentation is aimed at ensuring it is comprehensible and able to give you a solid grasp of the foundation of attachment theory in 10 minutes or less. Attachment theory pretty much says that as babies we develop an attachment to a parental figure. We develop the type of attachment that helps us best survive in our environment. Unfortunately, not all attachments that work in infancy work well for us as adults, especially if our parents trained us into some pretty bad habits. Let's start at looking at how secure attachments form and what this looks like in adulthood. We will use the example of food as a potential need that all babies need to have met. When you have a loving, caring, attentive parent, you develop a secure attachment. When these babies cry softly, they get fed. They learn that if they express their needs, those needs get met. Their mental health as adults is generally pretty good. They feel comfortable asking others for help as a means of meeting their needs. Babies that grow up developing a preoccupied attachment have learned that a soft cry is not enough. In order to get their parental figure's attention, they need to cry loudly to scream, "I need food." Unfortunately, this quickly becomes a maladaptive coping mechanism seen in milder personality disorders, where as an adult they rely on screaming, figuratively and sometimes literally, in order to have their needs met. These coping mechanisms often continue to work at times as adults, but more often than not cause significant interpersonal difficulties for them. Again, unfortunately, because these strategies work some of the time, they become difficult to extinguish without deliberate efforts to do so. Babies that develop a dismissive attachment style are those that get fed, but only if they shut up. Crying doesn't get them fed, it only gets them ignored more.
Listen to me. I am not rewarding this behavior. No.
These babies tend to grow up into adults that dismiss their needs, instead hoping that if they just do what they are told, they'll be looked after. Unfortunately, in life, sometimes stressors will come along that cannot be managed with hard work alone. You need to ask for help. If you don't ask for help and keep internalizing these stressors, then your mental health will decline and you will begin to manifest this distress in other ways. These adults often have somatic disorders like chronic, debilitating back pain that has no clear physical cause. By far, the most disruptive attachment style is disorganized. These poor souls have not had their needs met in an attentive fashion, and even worse, when they are met inconsistently in relation to the baby's attempts to have its needs met. One day they scream their lungs out and they finally get fed. The next day they scream and they get locked in a room. Some days it is quiet and it gets fed, other days it is quiet and it goes starving. The baby doesn't know how to get its needs met because every time it tries, it gets a different response from their caregiver. This leaves the baby feeling like it has no way of communicating its needs, and thus it develops an external locus of control, which is literally accurate, as the baby in fact has no control. They grow up into adults that have no idea how their needs are met, so they try a shotgun approach, where they try many varied and extreme ways of having their needs met. This can include verbal abuse, expressing suicidal ideation, violence, theft, promiscuity, illicit drugs. All of these are maladaptive coping mechanisms utilized by those with disorganized attachment styles in a desperate attempt to meet their needs. We often see those with disorganized attachment styles develop severe personality disorders. A lecture can be more memorable, and learning can be enhanced if humor is used to keep your target audience awake. With this goal in mind, I will finish with a new concept to ponder paired with some lighthearted humor. In the last generation or so, parenting pedagogy has changed significantly. Health professionals used to advocate that new parents teach their babies how to self-soothe, allowing babies to learn to regulate their own emotions and become comfortable with tolerating mild amounts of distress. There has been a major change in the model of care dictated to new parents. Professionals now tell parents that they need to provide responsive parenting, where the parent must respond immediately to the smallest amount of infant discomfort. Even when all the baby's needs are met, if it is irritable because it is too tired, parents must still continue to attempt to soothe their little one ad infinitum. If the baby continues to cry, the parent must continue to soothe their baby by patting it and singing it and rocking it. Mothers during the postnatal period are at exceptionally high risk for deteriorating mental health. And yet these mothers must endure and continue. Under no circumstances must the baby be allowed to learn how to self-regulate its emotions. Evidence has already begun coming through that this model of care leads to more irritable toddlers that are unable to manage their emotions. And so, it is for these reasons that I propose, half tongue-in-cheek, a fifth emerging category of attachment styles. This is the overly secure attachment style. This could be seen in babies that have every need met instantaneously upon being expressed, many needs being met before they are even communicated. These babies could often come from good families with caring parents, yet end up being unable to tolerate the distress of even the most minute inconvenience. What would this look like as an adult, you may ask? Well, it might look a little like this.
Amy, it says you are trained in technology. That's very good. Are you adept at Excel?
No.
PowerPoint?
No.
Publisher?
Not really.
Exactly in what area of technology are you proficient?
Snapchat, Pinterest, Instagram, Vine, Twitter. You know, the big ones.
I'm surprised you didn't say Facebook.
That's for old people, like my parents. That's funny.
Well, Amy, when you're working for me, you have to have those kind of research skills because I'll send you things for you to comb through and get the answers and send them to me. So for that, you got to be really good at technology.
For stuff like that, no problem. I'll just ask Siri.
You'll just ask Siri?
You know, Siri tell me this, Siri find me that. We're all good at getting you the answers.
Tell Siri I want you ready to go at 8 sharp each and every morning.
I don't understand
What don't you understand?
what you just said.
You don't understand be ready to go?
No. You said 8, right?
Yes.
8 like in the morning 8?
Yes, in the morning.
Yeah. That kind of doesn't work for me. Who gets up at 8?
I do.
I Skype with my French boyfriend in Paris until like 3 in the morning. I don't even get to Starbucks until like 10, where I order my grande chai tea latte, 3 pumps, skim milk, light water, 2% foam, extra hot, but not too hot. So if it's okay, I work best in the morning at 10:45.
Wow. Amy, I don't think we're going to be a good fit.
Why are you so negative? I can sense your hostilities, and right now I am not feeling very safe. I've been here for over 5 minutes, and the only nice thing you have said to me was nice resume, which I typed all night for this meeting with you. You've given me no guidance, no validation, no encouragement, no supervision. Is there an HR director somewhere?
HR director?
Yes, I need to speak to someone. I may have to take off today as a mental health day.
Take the day off. Amy, look at me. You don't work here.
Are you firing me?
Okay, yes.
Thank you for listening to my presentation.